Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So, if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe.
So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are showcasing Shadow Electivire. So, to put this into perspective of how terrible a pick this is, it is ranked 90th on pvpoke, and I reckon if you scroll through YouTube and looked for every single Pokemon that's ever been showcased in the Master League Classic, you won't find 90. But it is what it is. We're here to showcase all the Shadow Spice, and my boy Electivire is getting some love today. The team we're building around it is going to be my Legacy Stone Age Shadow Machamp in the lead, looking to go smash some tin cans up. And obviously on the safe switch, we've got a fairly bulky Pokemon in Shadow Snorlax running Lick, Body Slam and Superpower. I say fairly bulky, it's not that bulky, but bulky for a Shadow. And as you can see on screen, we've got Electivire running Thundershock, Wild Charge and Ice Punch. Luckily for us, Electivire doesn't really give a crap about typings. It hits super hard. We do manage to pick up some wins. This video is purely for entertainment. I would not recommend this team. Getting into game one, here is the big tin can. And this is pretty much what you want to see. We can pretty much smash this up. They come into Zacion, and as you can tell, we've got quite a few holes in our team comp. Zacion isn't something we really want to see. However, we do count, and they're at the back-to-back close combat. So we did CMP. We're going to allow this to go through because the big thick boy don't care about no close combat. We do tank that successfully. We do CMP. Body Slam does big damage, and now we can just let Snorlax go down, as I really don't want to use a shield. Even though I could win switch, we're going to have to save shields for Electivire and Machamp, as both of them need about 20 each. So we do Thundershock down. Back out comes the Dialga. We are going to throw this Ice Punch. Ice Punch does hit for neutral. Wild Charge is resisted, but does do a lot more damage. We do grab the shield. We combo play into Machamp. This would be putting a lot of shield pressure. The opponent has now gone down 2 shields. They've got Ho-Ho in the back and rip to the opponent, because one turn before they get to the Brave Bird, we're going to fire off this Stone Edge. Rock Slide does not one-shot. It does about 80%, but Stone Edge absolutely does one-shot. 1 HP and a Dream. Shadow Machamp is about to sweep, and that right there is a good game. So GG to the opponent, and we save 2 shields for the World Championships. Moving on into the next battle, we pick up a lead against Swampert. This is fairly neutral, but it's not really a matchup I like particularly in any league, as Shadow Machamp never has any bulk. So we are going to shield the first one. We look to get the extra counter. We were unsuccessful, but we do successfully deny the mud shot, so we'll outpace them to the second move. So we draw a shield. We are going to allow this second move to go through. You're going to see it's going to put us pretty much in the red, but we are going to make this next move. I overfarm just a touch just before they get to the Hydro Cannon. This cross chop will either do decent damage, probably take them out, but they actually shield. We sneak a counter. I could shield and take switch, but once again, Electivire really isn't going to appreciate having no shield, so I allow it to go down. I come in with the big thick boy. I need to farm down with only taking 1 move, because it's going to put us quite low if we have to tank 2 Hydro Cannons. They're now a few mud shots short, really desperately trying to lick down. Come on, big boy gets the job done, and you're going to see they're going to bring in Togekiss. This isn't really ideal, because Electivire is going to get absolutely shredded from Charm, despite us being an electric type, hitting Flying for super effective. So you're going to see I'm going to build up here. We've almost got another back-to-back. I am going to fire this off and look to Thundershock down. In the back is Dialga, and this is what I mean by Electivire absolutely doesn't care about typings. We get to the back-to-back. Wild Charge is resisted due to Dragon resisting Electric, but Electivire don't care. Look at that, back-to-back Wild Charge, and if you've seen my short, you're going to probably realise that this opponent at this stage has probably deleted the game, because they've just got wrecked by an Electivire into their Dialga. They've probably spent hundreds of pounds, or euros or dollars, whatever currency they use, trying to get a good Dialga, and it just got wrecked by an absolute meme pick. You love to see it. Moving on into the next battle, we see the tin can once again. They actually switch out now into Guillotine. I was thinking to catch the move, but a few of them have been hitting me with Ominous Wind, which is super annoying, as I usually like to build up to 7 and catch the Shadow Ball. So I just switch out into Snorlax. I don't want to lose any more HP on the Machamp, because that would flip the Dialga game. This is pretty boring. We're just going to lick it, and this Giratina is going to do absolutely nothing. So I hope whatever you're doing, you're having a nice day. We're just gonna like randomly pretend this absolute Snorfest isn't happening, which is ironic as I'm using a Pokemon called Snorlax. So getting back into it, essentially what I'm doing is I'm trying to build up as much energy as possible. You can see these shadow balls do absolutely nothing. They do switch out and make a great catch. So I'm going to fire off this body slam, which will do pretty much nothing. We are now going to fire off the superpower. We're not debuffed, so this will do decent damage, or they are going to have to shield. They let it go, so we can now snipe it down with Machamp before we even have to take a move, and we've almost got a Stone Edge ready to go should they wish to return that Giratina. They actually don't bring Giratina in. They come in with Zacion, and this Stone Edge will do huge damage. They don't expect it. You love to see it. Stone Edge once again coming in clutch. We are resisting Snarl, so I can shield this up, and Machamp is a fairy counter confirmed. We shield that move up. You can see that counter is far outpacing the damage output of Snarl as we get stabbed and they do not. They're now forced to shield a cross chop, and we actually outpace him to the next move. So Zacion, you don't really want to see my Stone Edge Shadow Machamp. We get a bit of lag. I'm hoping we don't get the third shield. The third shield doesn't save the Zacion. All they've got now is the Giratina. You can see I'm spamming out Snorlax. They come back in and they've obviously just give up because we ain't even shown Electivire. So really sorry, Mr. Electivire. It is an Electivire showcase, but unfortunately you're not even on the battlefield. Moving on into the next game. We pick up a lead against Gyarados. I absolutely want to see Electivire on that. Let's see if that happens later in the video. So we've seen the big tin can against Snorlax. This is fairly neutral. We are going to tank the Iron Head. I'm actually going to bait with a body slam as the tin can usually loves to shield. But this madman chooses not to shield, but I've got back-to-back, so we should draw the shield here, or win switch. And the opponent actually lets it go, so we'll take that. We've got hardly any HP to get farmed down. And now I'm in a bit of a tricky spot because the Gyarados has got quite a lot of energy. So even if I bring my Electivire in, we are going to be potentially forced to shield everything. So I'm going to shield this up because probably a Crunch or an Aqua Tail would probably KO his Electivire. Can't take anything. They bring out Melmetal. So we've actually winning switch was pretty key there, as Machamp Melmetal is obviously what you want to see. Another tin can. So this opponent is running double steel. So I know Machamp isn't a popular pick, but I'm proving time and time again that it has got merit. We call the opponent's bluff, as I knew the opponent wouldn't want to debuff themselves. They don't want to take too much damage from the Electivire. So I'm going to shield this next move up. We are down shields. I commit to the farm down. The opponent is going to have to respect the Stone Edge. Even a Rock Slide as Gyarados is super squishy. Would be enough. I'm not baiting as I've got energy on the Electivire. I'm not sure who wins CMP, but I am going to fire off this Cross Chop. You can see that my switch timer has popped up. So Cross Chop does hardly anything, and I'm unsure which side my move's on. And for that reason, that's why I fired the Cross Chop. So Ice Punch would KO in case I hit the wrong side, which I did. So note to self, you want to go to the left. Machamp into Melmetal is the dream. They switch out into Palkia. I haven't got the best response, so I am going to soften it up with this Cross Chop, which does do decent damage as Palkia is super squishy. We now can bring in our Snorlax. They are looking to build up to the Draco. So for that reason, they are now going to be forced to shield their Body Slam. And just because I really want to maintain alignment, I am going to shield this up. I'm hoping we do shield a Draco. They bait with an Aqua Tail, so we are going to have to eat another Aqua Tail, which is fine. I think if I was the opponent, I would have thrown the Hail Mary, but I guess the chip damage is nice for him. Either way, Snorlax will lick down. You can see that we've got quite a lot of energy, and back out comes the Melmetal. I'm trying to force him to throw. The opponent is over farming heavily, so fuck it, may as well throw a couple of superpowers. First superpower does huge damage, and I'm just going to throw this second one. I could have went Body Slam, but either way, we're just going to spam out another superpower. The opponent lets it go. Let's see what they have in the back. They've got a Groudon. Groudon isn't great for either our remaining Pokemon, but the great thing here is we might be taking super effective from Mud Shot and they're resisting Thunder Punch, but Fire Punch is only neutral, whereas Ice Punch is super effective, and you can see it does do decent damage. I'm just happy to let Electivire go down. I dare them to throw the Earthquake. They do not. So I'm going to switch into Machamp. This again is a Fire Punch, so we are going to tank it. Machamp tanks that fairly well. I say fairly well, it did do quite a lot of damage, but we do survive. We've still got our shield. Cross Chop is going to force the opponent's last shield, and it looks like we can counter down. The opponent times their charge move poorly, so we are just going to shield this up, and the counter that went through is going to be enough to KO. Well, maybe one more, but either way we win that game despite our entire team losing to Groudon. So once again, we see a flyer in the lead. I'm really hoping that I get to Stone Edge that Dragonite later. We say switch into Snorlax, and they bring in Excadrill. This is kind of neutral. We can tank a move. The opponent can't tank anything, as Superpower would KO. So with that in mind, I am going to throw a bait, despite the fact I like to go with nukes only. We throw the bait, we get the shield. I am going to shield this next one up, and the idea here is that I'm going to over farm just before they get to the next move, and then I'm going to fire off the Superpower. So we could potentially delay CMP, as I am actually one turn before. Top tip for you there. Let's see if it's successful. It actually isn't, but either way, it was a nice attempt. They actually outplay me here, and they are going to CMP my Snorlax. So we are going to let it go down. I could have went into the 2 shields, but I do want to save a shield. I'm really hoping I can counter down. Unfortunately, because they over farmed, they are going to be able to get to another move. The Dragonite doesn't have too much energy, so I shield up the Machamp, and I actually look to catch the move on Electivire. I'm not sure using Electivire as a shield is the best play, but either way, we do it. You can see a Dragon Claw does about 60%. Unfortunately for me, we do get taken out. Electivire, you were just a sacrificial swap, but either way, it means that Machamp can get to this Stone Edge, which does huge damage. Let's see what is in the back. It happens to be a Shadow Metagross, so we were pretty screwed either way, but you win some, you lose some. Moving on into the next battle, we pick up a lead against Giratina. So like I say, I do like to try and catch the Shadow Ball, so I farm 2-7 and we make a catch. Let's see if they bait. It was an ominous wind bait, but either way, it's great to waste the opponent's energy. They switch out into a Dragonite on Dragon Tail. This is obviously worse, as Dragon Tail is a bit more spammy than the Dragon Breath variant. So I let this move go through. I'm timing it to not allow any free Dragon Tails through. This Body Slam will do a decent bit of chip damage, and the opponent is over farming, so this is great for me because now I know the opponent will shield. There's no chance they're going to lose switch. So we've got shield advantage. However, the Dragonite has got loads of energy, so we are in a really tricky spot. So we lost lead. I am now going to come in with Machamp. The fact they've got loads of energy, I believe they are going to go down 2 shields. As they aren't going to want to waste all that energy, I now come in with Electivire. I'm really hoping that I can Thunder Shock down, but I probably can't, as it isn't the best move. So with that in mind, I'm just going to fire off this Ice Punch and hope to take shield advantage end game. Ice Punch will obviously KO because the Dragonite is super low. In the back is a Mamoswine. Absolute worst case, as ground does resist electric, actually double resist electric. So we're just forced to go with these Ice Punches. We get some lag, and this game is absolutely over. There's no point really in shielding this up, so I let it go down. The win con here would be to double Stone Edge this Giratina. I have got a shield. I'm going to shield up this Ominous Wind, and would you guess what? They get the boost, so we top left. Moving on into the next battle, we pick up another dreadful lead. We see a Togekiss. We switch into Snorlax. I guess against Charm, our only real response is Snorlax. They switch into Melmetal. We are super low, so at this stage, I'm just going to hike a couple of superpowers at this Melmetal. First one does grab the shield. Second one will still do decent damage, and we are in a really tricky spot here, as that Togekiss is going to be a big problem. The opponent is over farming as well. I believe Rock Slide possibly won't KO. The opponent realises that as well, so they go for a superpower. The fact they have lowered their defence should mean that I don't have to commit any shields in this matchup. We are going to have to tank a move with Machamp, but that is fine. Can Electivire somehow clutch this game out from a rough spot? They bring in the Togekiss, so I'm forced to switch into Electivire. You can see that these charms are absolutely shredding us. We've got 2 shields. I'm forced to shield up. I expect it to be an Ancient Power. They actually go for the Flamethrower. I'm over farming towards the back-to-back Ice Punches, so if they shield this one up, I'll be able to get the second one. Ice Punch does take him out, but we've got hardly any HP, so Electivire is pretty much done. Thanks, buddy. You got rid of the Togekiss. Please show me a steal in the back. Please show me a steal in the back. Let's see what it is. It is Metagross. Machamp has got energy, so saving all that energy could come in clutch. We're going to need to get to probably 3 cross chops. First cross chop does a decent amount of damage. Second cross chop isn't going to KO. We're getting so low on health. Come on, Machamp. Please show some bulk. It's Bullet Punch against counter. We got farm down, but it doesn't really matter because they still had that Melmetal with a few HP in their back. But despite a really rough game, we made it fairly close. So we picked up another dreadful lead. So we're on a bit of a lose streak here. Let's see if we can somehow come out of this. They switch into Garchomp. Garchomp does throw the Earth Power, which is a bit better for us as it doesn't hit as hard as Outrage. We're just going to fire off some Body Slam spam. I'm over farming heavily. Well, not heavily, but I am over farming just a touch. I'm trying to rely on my fast moves. Body Slam does get it fairly low. The Garchomp is now really, really low. I could win switch here, but I don't want to commit any shields as both my other 2 Pokemon do need shields. The fact they're throwing Earth Power, you're going to see a bit of a strange play. I'm going to come in with Electivire. We are taking a super effective Mud Shot. The fact they've thrown Earth Power, I'm guessing they're on Earth Power Outrage. So we do actually resisted, farm down. They come back in with Dragonite, so whatever's in the back doesn't want to see Electivire. We are going to be forced to shield up these Dragon Claws. We did CMP, so no free fast move comes through. Ice Punch is double super effective. We do draw a shield. I once again do get a denial. We go for another Ice Punch. Will this KO? They actually double shield. What the heck is in the back? And in the back is a Metagross. So we've got a shield. So this time we're in a good spot. I'm going to shield up this Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash would obviously KO. I'm now going to overfarm as much as possible. Just before they get to the next Meteor Mash, I'm going to throw this Cross Chop. Cross Chop will take out the Metagross. Can we Stone Edge a Dragonite? You love to see it. So Machamp clutching out this game. So we finally managed to get back on the win streak despite seeing a terrible loss. Once again, this is why you want to run Stone Edge. GG's to the opponent. Moving on into the next battle. We pick up a lead against Zacion. This is not the best, but again, not the worst. Despite them being a fairy, they aren't actually offering any fast move pressure. They go straight for a Wild Charge, which is a bit of a strange play, and they switch out into a Shadow Mewtwo. So we're already, once again, in a really rough spot. The fact that we've committed a shield early, and they've got a Shadow Mewtwo, and we're down a shield, but luckily the Shadow Mewtwo is super squishy. We draw a shield as well. They're going to have to Focus Blast me to take me out. It's just a Side Strike, and Snorlax just about hangs on. The opponent doesn't want me to reach the next Body Slam, so they dump their energy, which is great for me. We're in the 1 shields. I'm still in a rough spot. The fact they're a Shadow, I'm just going to hike a Cross Chop at it. I believe Cross Chop probably would KO from this range. The opponent does shield it up. Unfortunately, I thought they were 1 Psycho Cut short, so I was spamming out the second one. So we are forced to burn our last shield as well. I'm now going to undercharge this move, hoping to get a couple of counters off. So you can see we did successfully undercharge. The opponent doesn't want to get countered down. They switch into Zacion. I'm praying that this is another Wild Charge. So once again, we use Electivire as a sack. Even a resisted non-stab Wild Charge has half our HP, which isn't fantastic. We actually lose CMP here as well, which is dreadful. I had the move. I really should have thrown it. But either way, we come back in with Machamp. I let him get towards the Wild Charge, and just as the third Snarl comes through, I take him out with a Cross Chop. It's all going to be dependent on what's in the back. They've still got that Mewtwo as a sacrificial swap, which I'm well aware of. So I'm over farming. They attempt to catch. We're not tolerating that, and 2 Cross Chops should be enough to take out this game. So another tip for you all, if you are going to use Spice Picks, like I do, you probably should sim it. I really assumed that Electivire would win CMP. It didn't, which was absolutely tragic. But either way, we're alright here. We get a weird glitch here. We get refunded, and the energy didn't go, so I have no idea what that is. But either way, this game is over, and Machamp sweeps. So I think in future, when I'm running some of these spice picks, I'm going to have to spend some time simming it rather than just throwing team comps together. But either way, we win that last match, and they were the battles with Shadow Electivire. So despite it being ranked 90th on pvpoke, you can pick up some decent wins. I think I won about 50% of my matches. My elo has been dropping at a rate of knots. I've been running all sorts of spice. So this was purely for entertainment only. I absolutely would not recommend this team. However, if you're just someone like me who don't really care about elo this season because the game's a bit crappy, by all means try it out, but don't expect to climb. So just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the